we're nearing an end to this long, long process. All right, we're gonna get started, guys. Good afternoon. This meeting of the 73rd term of your Baltimore City Council is now called to order. Please take a moment to ensure that our phones are turned off or at a minimum silence. We will get right to business today as we did earlier and go right into the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, Madam Clerk, if you could please call the roll of members.
President Mosby, Cohen, McCray, Dorsey, Conway, Schleifer, Middleton, Torrance, Burnett, Bullock, Porter, Costello, Stokes, Glover, Ramos. Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We will now proceed to the adoption of journals. Madam Clerk.
Mr. President, the journal for the June 14, 2023, 12 p.m. proceedings on the council members' desks.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Without objection, the journal will be adopted. Hearing and seeing none, the journal is adopted. We will now move to bills on third reader. Before we do, I would like to thank everyone for, again, your participation in this process. It's been a long, grueling process, arduous at times, but I think there was a tremendous amount of work that was done here on the council and a tremendous amount of support and partnership and responsiveness on behalf of the administration. How we've learned a lot from this process. Prior to it, we were able to do big rules and best practices from around the country. We went to Detroit and Philadelphia and Wilmington and DC to get kind of their budget process. We also looked at my colleagues around the state of Maryland, got their processes, and we tried to incorporate some of those. One of the things that we saw this year was the revenue certification process. That's something that we look to continue. Implementation of Budget 101, some of the processes and procedures that we put in place, like the amendment process. I think that, coming out of this, we've learned a lot. We'll continue to learn a lot. Obviously, this is the first time it's been done in 125 years, so I congratulate all of you for being part of history, but more importantly, for setting a foundation of professionalism, of decorum that we want this body to kind of represent. We did that in the face of asking real grueling questions at times, really trying to dig down to some of the issues, our priorities, and the core competencies that we felt as a council with the administration. And on the other side, I think the administration did a really yeoman's job of trying to be upfront, fair, balanced, as well as responsive to some of our needs, some of our demands, as well as our concerns. So when I think about government, and I think about good government, I think the citizens can be proud of this process, what it ultimately produced in such, again, a short time period. And that could not happen if it wasn't for many of you, if it wasn't for the staff of the council president's office, if it wasn't for the administration, if it wasn't for council services, if it wasn't for legislative reference. So again, I think if we could just do a round of applause for everybody at the moment, really truly thank you. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Chair of the Ways and Means Committee, Chairman Costello. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to thank you again, Mr. President, for your leadership throughout this process, and want to make sure that I thank each and every one of our colleagues for your participation in what was a very productive budget season. I think we've accomplished a shared deal that we can all go home to be proud of. Thank you, Mr. President.
No, thank you so much, Mr. Chair. At that time, we're going to go in a short title, so Mr. Chair, if you could call that.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move we read short titles for second and third reader for the duration of the meeting. Without objection, will be short titles for duration of the meeting. Hearing and seeing none, we are in short titles. Now we're going to turn to bills on third reading for final passage. Madam Clerk, if you could please call the first bill.
City Council Bill 23-0381, Ordinance of Estimates for the Fiscal Year ending June 30th, 2024. President Mosby, Cohen, McCray, Conway, Schleifer, Middleton, Torrance, Burnett, Bullock, Porter, Costello, Stokes, Glover, Ramos.
This bill is approved. There's a vote of 13 to 1 to 0. Say that again. Sorry, I voted no. I got it. That's why I said 13 to 1. There's a vote on the floor, 13-1, one person not being here. The no vote goes to Councilman Cohen. This bill is approved. Madam Clerk, next bill.
City Council Bill 23-0382, Annual Property Tax, Fiscal Year 2024. President Mosby, Cohen, McCray, Conway, Schleifer, Middleton, Torrance, Burnett, Bullock, Porter, Costello, Stokes, Glover, Ramos.
This bill is approved. That's 14 to 0, one absent. Madam Clerk, next bill.
City Council Bill 23-0383, Operating Budget for the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024. President Mosby, Cohen, McCray, Conway, Schleifer, Middleton, Torrance, Burnett, Bullock, Porter, Costello, Stokes, Glover, Ramos.
This bill is approved. Please give a round of applause. We just passed a fair and balanced budget. Again, first time in 125 years that this council has had the authority to do what we're doing today. With that said, do we have any committee announcements? If not, are there any special announcements that folks would like to read into us today? If not, before we have our amazing Vice President close us out, I want everyone to know that we will have a quick press conference, joint press conference with the administration in the Karen Room, if folks would like to join CEO Faith Leach as well as Chairman Costello. With that, Madam VP, the floor is yours.
Thank you. The next meeting of the City Council will be held on Monday, June 26, 2023 at 5 p.m.
Joining us. Again, great job, and God bless.